Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like Me TV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
Hi, I'm John Malice, and welcome to Connect with Me. Today we're live on the showroom floor, as we are every day here on Connect with Me, and it's our 200th episode. We have a special guest in the studio today. You'll want to stick around and listen to her amazing story of survival. We're back, including your phone calls, very important to the show, 265-4331. Back in a minute. And welcome back to the program. We're live on Comcast, channel 187 and 43.6. And don't forget, if you can only watch part of the program, you've got to watch the replay tonight or TiVo it or something, and maybe you can catch it online. Today is our 200th episode, and I want to thank our floor director, Marcus, who brought in a gift for me. It says 200 episodes, Connect with Me, host John Malice. Look at that. Isn't that great? Thank you, Marcus. Marcus's sister, Becky Cinema, actually does the movie reviews once a month here on a Thursday on Connect with Me. And so thank you very, very much for watching our 200th episode. So today I want to talk about a very important topic, and that is, well, part of it is health care. You know, nobody knows how this Obamacare is going to shake out in 2014. We don't know the cost. We don't know the coverage. We don't know what the penalty is if you don't have health insurance. We don't know who's going to be covered or who isn't. And this kind of fits right into our story today, because we're talking about health care. We're talking about someone who had cancer. I want to roll the videotape and introduce you to Holly Carter of Fresno. She owns a communications company, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 2009. A beautiful young lady. I better be careful, better not say that. I'll get in trouble like Brent Musburger did. But anyway, it's okay. She's a great person. She was diagnosed. She went down to UCLA at the medical center there, had surgery. The doctors told her, you're not going to live. The surgery was unsuccessful. It just didn't work out. So Holly went home wondering if she was going to die. She had faith in God. She had faith in herself. She was determined not to die, to beat the cancer, and she did, at least thus far. Her doctors told her she had to go in for 6 months of chemo, 2 months of radiation. They wanted her to go in for surgery again. She said, no, I'm going to beat this thing. She did. Live in our studio right now is Holly Carter. She has an amazing story of determination, the drive and determination to live. She owns Holly Carter Communications. You can call in at 265-4331. But I left out one very important thing, one aspect to this story. It also involves the high cost of cancer, despite the fact that someone may have health insurance and may be covered. We're going to talk about that to Holly, ask her about her health, ask her about the cost of cancer, and you can call in and ask her any question that you would like to. If you're going through some of the same problems with cancer, the high cost of it, problems with your health insurance, maybe you're not insured, Holly, I'm sure, can give you some advice on both ends of that equation. We're back with our 200th episode here on Connect with Me in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Yes, it's kind of a downer, the topic today, but you know what? We're all smiles. You know why? Holly Carter is here, alive in the flesh. How are you doing, Holly?
I am doing fabulous. Thank you for having me here.
I'm afraid to get in trouble like Brent Musburger did. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Congratulations. 200 shows.
Thank you very much.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, we have a call right off the bat before we get into your story, and let's take it and see what this is all about. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Good morning. I want to congratulate that woman for the cancer that she is going through. I know how she feels. I've been fighting cancer for 10 years of my life, and I'm still fighting to this day of cancer.
Well, do you have a question for Holly?
How did she do it? I mean, how did she go about getting better and stuff?
Well, what's your first name?
Darlene.
Darlene. Hi, Darlene.
Hi.
First of all, thanks for calling in, and I'm very sorry to hear that you've been battling cancer for so long. What kind of cancer do you have?
I have breast cancer and bone cancer.
Oh, dear, hon. I also have breast cancer that spread, and I know a bit about the prognosis of it spreading to the bones. You know, it's a good question. For me, it came down to really declaring war on cancer and the thought process of life versus death, and I just made a decision that I was going to focus and really visualize living, and my entire life became that. So main things I would say that are important is exercise. Cancer cannot coexist with oxygen, so the more you exercise...
It's hard for me to exercise. I've broken my leg, my left leg twice, and I've broken my hip, so it's hard for me to exercise. I can't do much exercise because of my right hip, and my left leg has been broke twice.
Oh, and that's, you know what might be good is if you could give somebody to the show your email address, and then we can correspond and see what we could do about trying to help you get some cardio that would be good for you, because I would say that's probably the number one thing that I would encourage you that is really critical to do, is to get your heart rate up. So let's talk.
Holly, our excuse me, my finger's in the shot there, but up on the screen is our website, our email address. Actually, is that our email address?
I don't have a computer, sir.
Well, maybe you can give your phone number to somebody from the show, and then I can follow up with a phone call to you. That way we can chat.
That would be fine.
Okay.
Fine.
I'm glad you called in, and I will be praying for you. Keep a positive attitude, and I'll circle back with you with a phone call.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Are there any upper body exercises that she can do?
Yeah, there are. There are also, I know they've got the cycling that instead of your legs, you can actually use your arms.
Oh.
That would be one that I would recommend for her. But really key, I'd say 3 to 5 times a week, get her heart rate up for 15 minutes or more, because that circulates the blood through her body. And I think the more people that I talk to and I explain that to them, that it's not about losing weight, it's not about what you look like, it's about killing cancer. And when they can visualize that the oxygen going and killing cancer, they're more motivated to do that.
How do you know that the oxygen will kill the cancer?
That's medical. I learned that from just doing a lot of reading, and it's something that for whatever reason I didn't hear people talk much about. But oxygenating the body is a very important part of killing cancer. That's why they say do keep up your exercise. Not only that, but it helps your attitude. It helps with the battle in many ways. Most importantly, oxygenating body, killing cancer, but also your mental mindset.
And you're oxygenating your body when you exercise.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Because I mean,
whether you're running or doing push-ups or doing jumping jacks or jump rope or any of that will help get the oxygen.
You just have to you just have to get your heart rate up to where your heart is pumping blood through your body, and keep that for 15 minutes. So we're not talking about an extremely strenuous thing, but it's critical. It's really critical.
I want to go back to 2009 when you were first diagnosed. What went through your mind? How did you discover it? How did you handle it? Who told you? The doctor?
Well, actually, yes, a doctor told me. It was February of 2009, and I was a single mother and working and going to school full time.
Yeah, 4 children.
4 children, and I did not have health insurance. So I was fortunate in that I was hired by a public affairs firm from down south, and my insurance kicked in February 1st, and on February 4th, I was at the doctor getting a checkup. I knew that there was something there. I certainly never anticipated that it was cancer. There's no family history of cancer. And I was not 40 yet. I hadn't been having mammograms or anything like that.
You were like, what, 37 at the time?
I was
38?
Well, the cancer, looking back, I felt something there when I was 36 or 37.
Right.
So by this time, I think I was 39 or just about to turn 40, so something like that.
Were you devastated?
No.
You weren't?
No,
when you found
not
out.
at all.
What
Not
was
at
your
all.
attitude when you found out?
I was mad. I was irritated. I wasn't devastated. I wasn't afraid of it. I was very excited about my new job, and I'd worked really hard, and I felt like this was an opportunity for me to finally do what I had always dreamed of doing. And I just felt just irritated that it was going to my fear was it was going to slow me down. But I wasn't afraid. I wasn't devastated at all. I just went on about life as normal. My thought process at that time was that breast cancer is so common that it wasn't going to be a big deal, because you see pink ribbons and you think, well, this is the pretty cancer. This is the
Right, because there are so many survivors, right?
Well, right, and when you're young, or when you're not taught that you should be vigilant about breast cancer, as a woman in particular, but especially men as well. You just think it's the pretty one, it's the good one to get because everybody lives, So
Right.
that was my thought process.
Right. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back and continue this conversation. Holly Carter is here. Her story, her amazing, incredible story about surviving and beating cancer. She's here, lives to tell about it, and we're going to talk about the high cost of cancer and health care and all of that. Your phone calls are important. If you're going through a tough time, just call in, ask Holly a question, 265-4331. We're back in a jiffy.
You tell me who I am.
They called you West.
Jim West.
Mr. West.
West!
Well, my name is James West.
A truly great man.
Brilliant.
Secret Service agent,
What's next? Come on, I'm waiting.
man of action. He's James West
Where's Jim West?
on the Wild Wild West. Weekdays at 4, 3 Central on MeTV.
Many of you might be in the same situation, maybe no health insurance, or maybe health insurance is just kicking in. We don't know what's going to happen with Obamacare, and so we're going to get into the high cost of cancer in just a moment, but I want to go through what you went through. Okay, in 2009, you were diagnosed. You weren't scared. You were upset. You were angry.
Correct.
You were irritated that it was
Right.
going to slow you down.
Yes.
When did you find out that you had the aggressive kind of cancer and it was really attacking you?
It's a good question. For me it trickled in. It was interesting how people were treating me. They were the people in the medical profession were so frightened and would talk to me almost like they knew I was going to die, and I didn't understand that, and it irritated me. Everything was so grim, and so I was like, hey, let's just do what we got to do and move on with it. It wasn't until I think the day before I had surgery at UCLA, it was a very lengthy surgery, that they got results back from my PET scan, and there was one of the doctors that had been helping me actually get into UCLA from this area was in New Zealand at the time, and the time is exact opposite of ours, so I think it was the middle of the night, and when she was trying to reach me, and I had calls from UCLA coming in, I had calls from the local oncology team, my phone was just going crazy, and I'm working, of course, at this this time, trying to get everything ready to be off for surgery. And long story short, finally got to talk with one of the doctors, and I was supposed to have reconstruction at following the or at the same time. They were going to remove the cancer, and then they were going to do reconstruction, which was important to me. And the doctor told me that they were not going to do reconstruction, that the cancer had spread, and it was so aggressive that they did not feel that I was going to even live. And so they were really going to focus on just trying to cut all the cancer out, and reconstruction was not even an option at that time. When I heard those words at that time, that they wouldn't do reconstruction because they were fearful that I wasn't going to live, that's when I finally started paying attention that I had a serious cancer.
Did at that point your attitude change from being angry or irritated to being scared?
It did. It did. In fact, when I got that call, I was in the car, and when we hung up, for the first time, I really broke down. I started to cry, and there was about, I don't know, I want to say 20, 30 minutes of the realization that I might die. And that was that moment of where terror set in, and I fell apart. And what helped me is I realized that if there's a 1 in 100 chance that somebody can live, then my job was to be the 1 out of the 100.
Or even 1 in a million.
Yeah, so I just decided that if there was a possibility to live, then I would live. And so I picked up the pieces and went on from there. But for about half an hour, I was pretty hysterical, because that was the first time it dawned on me that I might die, and I didn't understand how deadly breast cancer is.
So what got you through? What kept you going, and why are you still here? I mean, it's amazing that you are. Is it because of your makeup, your personality, your determination, your faith in God, or is it all of the above?
I had a tremendous support group in with my best friend that helped get me through it, Jerry Duncan, and he was there for me every moment, encouraging me along the way, and that helped. I mean, having somebody that you can talk to that's cheering you on, that drives you to the doctor's offices, that drives you, I mean, because I was going back and forth to LA regularly. So that was an important part of it. It's a good question. What is it? What is it about me that got me through it? Is it something that has to do with me, or is it something that anybody can do? I would say that I'm competitive, and so there's a certain component of it that is my nature. I don't like to lose. I have a very strong faith, and I believe that that God was very active in my life, and very, very vocal, not in an audible way, but in many different ways. I also had good physicians, and I opted for me to maintain life as normal. I didn't want to look at myself as a patient or as a victim.
Easily thrown in the towel when the doctors sent you home and said, "There's nothing we can do." Mm-hmm. This is pretty much it. Just go home and do what you have to do, and that's pretty much all we can do for you. It was almost like a death sentence.
It was a death sentence. It was a death sentence, and what you're referring to is when I had gone through 6 months of chemotherapy, the strongest there was.
2 months of radiation.
2 months of radiation, and I went back the day before Thanksgiving to get the results from the PET scan, and it was at that time that they told me that it didn't work and that I was in fact going to die.
Right, and so you refused to lie down. Basically, as I understand it now from what you're telling me, mm-hmm. it has a portion of it is your friend Jerry Duncan, mm-hmm. former Fresno City Councilman, I might add. Yeah. He's been a guest here on the program. He's off to the side, off camera right now, and he drove you to the studio here today. That's part of it, your determination, but your faith and religious beliefs. So all three of those combined, and the support of your family.
Yes, yes.
But I think what it boils down to, it comes down to you. Do you want to live?
Right.
Does it not?
It really does. And I hear people talk about, well, I'm ready to go if it's my time, and you know, I'm not afraid of death. And
but you weren't ready to go.
Well, I wasn't. I certainly lived my life with that thought process that I live each day present, and if my time comes, my time comes. But when that diagnosis was given to me, I realized that I didn't know what I was talking about, and the will to live is something that you really can't describe.
Yeah, and you
really
can't put your finger on that.
No.
You either have it or you don't. You either want to live or you don't.
I think everybody has it. We just don't know we have it.
Yeah.
Until we're in that situation, but it's an instinctual thing.
Right. All right. We're talking to Holly Carter of Carter Communications, and talking about her struggles and her battle to this very day with breast cancer. If you have a question for Holly, 265-4331. Stick around. We're going to talk about the high cost of cancer in our next segment. We're back in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready steam equipped, high efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
You know, I shudder to think anybody who has gone through what Holly has gone through, and you have no insurance, no way to pay your bills, no way to pay your medical costs. And, you know, I had a distant relative who had cancer many years ago here in Fresno, and he unfortunately passed away, God rest his soul, but had medical bills up to the ceiling, up to the sky. I mean, it was just uncontrollable. And the high cost of cancer, I want to put a graphic up on the screen and talk about this, Holly, just for a minute, and we'll talk about your medical bills. But this is an incredibly eye-opening graphic, as you can see up there. Breast cancer and the burden. The burden meaning the cost. It's $209 billion in lost productivity in medical costs per year when you're talking about cancer. And out-of-pocket cost, this is just an average now. It comes to more than about $6,500. The source of this is the National Opinion Research Center. And I got to ask you, your bills were close to or over $100,000. And you had medical insurance.
Had medical insurance.
That's astounding to me.
My case is unique, and so I don't want to frighten. I don't want to frighten everybody. My case was unique in that I opted for reconstruction, and I've had over 20 surgeries. So my cancer in particular, I had the major and minor pectoral muscles involved, so they had to both be removed, and essentially my left quadrant, my whole left quadrant of my body was nothing left. There's nothing left except bone, and the skin was even ruined. So from the radiation. So
and that's why you had the reconstructive surgery, right?
Well, it had to be stages. Obviously, they wouldn't do the reconstructive surgery at first, but so December of 2009, I was able to have the first procedure, which was at UCLA, and it was I want to say over 6 hours long for that procedure alone, and you can't even find anybody here that can do it in this area.
And you can't do it all at one time, like you just said. You've got to do it in certain stages. You go once, you do something. You go again, you do something else.
Right, and so they literally had to. For me, what's been done on me. As far as I know, I've never heard of it being done, and I've never met anybody else that had it done. So
why did you opt for that?
I wanted to take back from cancer what it had taken from me to the best of my ability, and that was part of the way I fought cancer. Is I realized that there's scars, and that's okay, but I wanted to take it back. I felt like I had had so much robbed from me. And that was part of my process of not only battling it, but healing from it. And in fact, I just had my last big surgery a month ago.
Jeez. Yeah. How are you doing? Pretty good?
I'm doing great, yeah.
All right, we'll take another phone call here. Holly, good morning. You're on with Holly Carter. How are you?
I'm
very, very moving episode that you're having today. It's moved me to tears, and the triumphant fight that Holly has fought is an inspiration to anybody in the future, anybody in the present that's suffering from this terrible disease. And Holly, do you see progress being made in medical sciences? Do you think that we'll live to see cancer eradicated from the healthscape of Earth?
And I'm sorry, what's your first name?
My name's Bill.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for calling in. Very good questions. I do believe that we are going to see a cure for cancer. I really believe that. I think that part of the challenge is obviously getting the funding to get it into the clinical trial stage. That's in my opinion one of the most difficult things. And the other part of your question was, do I see advances? As I've gone through the battle now, this has been 4 years, this February will be 4 years, I have been told on numerous occasions that part of the goal, if for some reason my cancer were to resurface again, in other words, there's no signs of active cancer in my body right now, but if for some reason it were to show its ugly head again, I've had the people that travel all over the world and speak on cancer that say that the goal is to keep me alive long enough so that new technology emerges. So I absolutely believe it. I think every year we're seeing new things being developed, and so I think the key really is it's a race right now to stay alive long enough to see those cures be put in place.
I want to turn you around to the monitor, and we're going to see some video of you actually running. And we talked about exercising and that oxygen kills those cancer cells. How often do you run, as we're going to take a look at the video here?
I run, my goal is to run every day, but I would say I run 4 or 5 times a week. And I also go to the gym, but running is really my time to refocus, and it's a spiritual time for me.
That's your family there, your kids?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Those are my children. I have 2 grandchildren as well. So,
and there you are, taking to the streets of Fresno, right?
Correct. I live in North Fresno. So and running outside it makes me feel closer to God, and I feel like that's really the time where He speaks to me and puts on my heart, gives me the drive and the ability to continue fighting.
Right. And I want to put up one more piece of video of you and your family before we run out of time here. Tell me how your 4 children, that's your family right there, how did they accept the news when they first found out that you had cancer?
That's a good question. The kids were obviously worried, but they've always known Mom to be a fighter.
They knew you, right?
They knew me, and so I don't think it ever occurred to them that I would die from this. It wasn't until later, when we were given the news that the treatment hadn't worked, that they really fell apart, and it's been very difficult.
What did you find out about yourself that you didn't know?
I found out a lot about myself that I didn't know. Primarily, what have I learned? I've learned that people are good. I knew people were good, but I didn't know it like I know it now. People want to help, and they want to love. I've learned how to love in a way that's truly unconditional. I've learned that nothing matters except your health and the people that you love. And so my entire outlook on life has shifted from a place where I worried a lot to a place now that's really just a place of love. And that's been the biggest change for me, is I look at things just completely different now. And when people do things that are unpleasant, I realize that they're hurting, and I'm able to look at it completely different.
Wow. Sadly, we're out of time. The 30 minutes goes by fast.
It does.
The human spirit is an amazing thing, and your
really
fight
is.
And your incredible determination and will to live is an amazing story, Holly.
Thank you so much for having me on. Congratulations again, 200 shows.
Thank you.
Look forward to 400.
And good health to you for 2013. God bless you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, come back again.
Okay.
All right, Holly Carter. Hey, on Monday, you know who the guest is going to be? A return visit by Dennis Hart of KMJ. So much to talk about with Dennis on Monday. I can't wait. It's always a fun show when he's on. Have a great and wonderful and blessed weekend. We'll see you back on Monday.